And we move to agenda item number 3, public comments. All right, Ms. Pam Shaw will be our first public comment. Okay, ma'am. Good morning, Ms. Shaw. We have 3 minutes.
Good morning, and I'm just really here to keep a certain item front of mind for everyone. I'm sure it already is, but I'm Pam Shaw, and I'm the daughter, I'm the sister, I'm the wife, and I'm the mother of career military people. What I'm not is an agitator, and I hope everybody understands that. We're your constituents, and we're your neighbors, and we're concerned citizens. So years ago, when tech companies started up, it was understandable that it was seen as maybe the wave of the future, good jobs coming in, industry development for rural counties that needed those things. But now it's been several years. We know, we've seen the effects of the centers that have been built. There's over 3,000 centers in the United States, just in the United States. We know now that there are significant negative problems with these centers. Excuse me. Light pollution, noise pollution, air pollution. We know that the jobs, the number of jobs that were thought to be coming are probably not, because it only takes a few dozen, maybe 2 dozen humans to run these facilities. We know that the usage of water and the electricity that is needed to run these facilities is something that we may need to consider because of the issue with water here in Texas. So what we're asking is, at the very least, there's still time to think these things through, to make sure that what we're signing up for is what we really want, and is this what all of the people in this room want? And that's really, I just want to keep this centered. There's a lot of people who are very interested, and at the very least, we continue to want transparency from our elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Mr. Billy Martin. All right, so you have 3 minutes.
Judge, council members, audience. First thing before I start, if I might.
I'll come up there, Mr. Mark.
That one to the judge, this one to the sheriff. I appreciate that. Well, here I am again, another thorn in the side. One of the things I talked about was law enforcement last time I was here, the time before that, the time before that, probably the time before that. One of the things I want some people on this courtroom to know, I don't come in here without the receipts. If I say something, my God, I've got the paperwork to back it up. If people lie, kind of talked to some of Nick Shirley's people the other day. You got to stand up. If I would have known what this county was really like subcutaneously, I never would have moved here. Because at almost 80 years old, my next birthday, I wanted to have some peace and quiet and live in a wonderful little community. Boy, was I in for the shock of my life. I've been bail building old. whole bunch of people. And it's getting ready to fall. Right here, Sheriff Fauci over there gave a little speech for his reelection. He never was given any information about setting up a committee to train people so we didn't have sexual harassment over the sheriff's office. He said, I never got anything. Well, it was really interesting, most interesting, that wasn't even beginning to be 1% of the truth. This came out of the Wilson County News on the December 23rd of 2020, when Sheriff-elect Jim Stewart emphasizes interaction with public and transparency. Transparency. Well, in the last month, I had the second threat of my life. I have talked to the sheriff straight off one-on-one and made complaints about 2 officers. It's never been investigated. Never going to be investigated. Some of you hadn't been in here before. He sat over 2 hours in my office before he was elected the first time, wanting my backing, and I went out. What he told me was nothing but lies. It's that time, right?
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Anybody wants to take a look at one of these?
You
I'll
can
show
have
you.
my time, sir. You can have my time.
Oh, thank
Keep
you.
talking.
And who are you, ma'am, so I can, what page are you on?
Anna Gilly,
Ma'am, with all due respect, thank you very much.
please
Okay,
keep going.
so noted. We got it right here. Thank you, ma'am.
I want to read from this newspaper article about how transparent our sheriff is. He's a nice guy, but he's absolutely inept. I've owned and run multi-million-dollar companies. I've turned down a job as chief operating officer for $1 billion company. Why? Because it was my brother-in-law that offered me the job. He found it at Pizza Hut. And I said, no. Because everything I do then, people are going to say, you got to where you are now because you're brother-in-law. So everything I do, I don't play number 2 dog in a dog sled team for anybody. Because when you're number 2 dog, what you see in front of you is not something you want to be looking at every day. And I want to read, and I've got copies if people want this. I find that when I run across something, I always kind of keep things because you never know when you might need evidence. When somebody says something and it's not true. Quote, I intend to focus on establishing a favorable relationship through integrity and professionalism with the citizens of Wilson County. If you make a mistake, fix it and go on, but don't try to hide it. You wanted to blame somebody else for that EEOC problem. You had the paperwork. You were given the paperwork. After research was done with HR, with the county attorney, other people, it was delivered to you, and then you have the gall, the unmitigated gall, to stand up in front of when you were going to go for re-election again and lie about it. Try to blame somebody. I didn't get anything. It wasn't me. Oh, if I'd have got it, I would have done something about it. You have no idea how many former officers and people in this community have come to me after I've been speaking and said, you know what? Finally, somebody's at the tip of the spear. And you all know, that I was instrumental in taking down the mob in Kansas City after they put a contract on me, my mother, my father, my daughter, kidnapped my girlfriend. And I was working with the FBI up there. And you know my past. When I start researching something, I'm as tenacious as a Rhodesian Ridgeback when a couple of black maned lions decide to attack camp. I don't back down. I've been offered $1 million to take somebody out. So only, you want to look up something, look up the $1 million assassin on YouTube and you'll find out a former girlfriend of mine offered me $1 million to take her husband out.
Thank you, Ms.
Anyway,
Martin.
thank you very much, folks. I wish you all a good day.
maybe.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have some comments for item number 10. So there is 1, 2, 3, 7 speakers on item number 10. So we'll wait till we get to agenda item number 10, and then we'll have those speakers come speak before that agenda item is brought to the court. Agenda item number 4, we have certificates of completion, awards, and bond continuation. The Texas Association of County Cybersecurity Awareness Training for Amanda Bravo. The VG Young Institute of County Government, 16 hours of educational training by Commissioner Russell King. Texas Association of Counties Artificial Intelligence Training, Ray Adetta, Natalie Howard, Christine Jones. Texas Association of County Cyber Security Awareness Training for Ray Adetta and Natalie Howard. Texas Veterans Commission Military Cultural Competency, Ray Adetta and Christine Jones. They be entered into the minute. Agenda item number 5, we have our extension activity reports. Have anybody from AgriLife here? I see none, so commissioners, I'll give you a few minutes to look over the report. All right, we move to agenda item number 6. We have Christine Lavas, County Auditor, 10 o'clock a.m. Open the following bids, so we're going to skip over that. And Commissioners, please remind me when to get to that. So we will move to agenda item number 7, presentation only, order appointing County Auditor by the 81st and the 2/8 District Court appointing Kristen Lavas as County Auditor for Wilson County for a term of 2 years beginning July 27, 2026. I take it that's an action item, it would say that,
It's not an action.
just for information. Very good.
It's
Okay.
not an action item, but it needs to be. Section 84 of the local government code, chapter 3 says, the clerk of the district court shall record the judge's action in the minutes of the court certified to the commissioner's court, which I think is what we've done. But it says the commissioner's court shall then record in its minutes the judge's action and an order directing the payment of the auditor's salary. I think that needs to come back on, doesn't it? Yes, and it's an action item, needs to be an action item.
Can we do an action item if it says discussion only?
You can, you're just certifying the appointment. and
Right.
putting the salary on.
I'll entertain a motion.
What is the salary?
You also don't have a copy of that,
It didn't make it in the package because we didn't know it was going to be an action item.
I'll make a motion to record in the minutes the judge's action of the 81st and 218th district judges in an order to direct payment of auditor's salary in the amount of $85,000 per year.
Motion made by Commissioner Morton, seconded by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. For the public awareness on that position reports directly to the district judges. That's who employs them. Their employees belong to the county. Agenda item number 8, we have Anthony Delgado, Wilson County Historical Commission. We'll go to 8A, Commissioners Court, to present the Texas Historical Commission's Distinguished Service Award to the Texas Historical Commission. Mr. Delgado, you have the floor.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, staff, public. If any time we can come together and celebrate and honor our county's history, is a great day. It's even more special when the work that your all-volunteer commissioners do is recognized by the State Historical Commission via their Distinguished Service Award. If we can go to the next slide. The Distinguished Service Award is established by the Texas Historical Commission, and it's an annual recognition of counties who go above and beyond with Texas's preservation goals. There are 254 counties in Texas, and this past year, a good number of them, although a small fraction, were recognized by THC in their annual awards. One of the things I want to make sure that our public understands is the Wilson County Historical Commission is appointed by the Commissioners Court, and it's a group of 9 individuals who are all volunteers. And their mission is to preserve, protect, and promote the history of the county and its historical assets. If we can go to the next slide. So these are some of the things that your all-volunteer historical commission worked on in 2025, and some of the things that were called out by the historical commission for our Distinguished Service Award. We worked with one of the local historians, and we installed Rancho Pateguilla Historical Marker, which recognizes the county's early Spanish colonial ranches. We installed and recognized more than a dozen of local Wilson County, prior to Wilson County's establishment, local ranchers who were significant and are recognized as patriots of the American Revolution. We installed a marker which sits outside of the courthouse. We produced a tri-county hosted symposium. There you have a picture of Bexar County, Atascosa County, and Wilson County Historic Commission members in last year's symposium highlighting our 250th anniversary of America and Wilson County's contributions. A member of our historical commission also conducted a oral history for African American Story Gathering Day, and your historical commission has produced 3 exhibits, and you'll see one of those exhibits again, the Women of Wilson County, in March during Women's History Month. And those are the accomplishments for which the THC has recognized your all-volunteer Wilson County Historical Commission. Judge, over to you for presentation.
Okay, so do you have the certificate? I know they sent us a packet, but I've got
From
it.
what the THC said is they sent it to your office.
I can read it off, but it wasn't filled in.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and then we'll I'll get with THC and we'll see what we can do about regenerating that certificate.
All right, here's what it reads, and bear with me because some of this is not filled in. Austin, Texas. This is from the county received Distinguished Service Award from the Texas Historical Commission. The Historical Commission, THC, awarded a 2025 Distinguished Award, DSA, to Wilson County Historical Commission. This annual award affirms Wilson County, CHC, for their exemplary initiation and execution of comprehensive programs that preserves Texas's multitude of historic and cultural resources. In 2025, statewide CHCs contributed an impressive 266,045 volunteer hours, translating in an in-kind donation to the state valued at $9,311,575. This award acknowledges the substantial time investment inherent to preservation and organizational standards CHCs utilize in their projects. The County Commissioners Court, acting on the CHC's governing body, will collaborate with CHC to determine the optimal method of presenting the DSA certificate and publicly acknowledge appointees of their dedicated service. The THC actively supports over 200 CHCs through programs and services that preserve Texas heritage for the education, enjoyment, and economic benefit of present and future generations. The THC's advisory role to CHCs is outlined in the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 318. All right, sir, that's what I have. We'll look for that original certificate and get it filled in. So are you wanting to come back here and take a picture with us?
If you don't mind,
Yeah,
that'd be
okay.
nice. And then if I could just introduce
Yeah,
for the
please,
public
absolutely.
the rest of your historical commission. Sandy Meagle, Cambria Reed, Nikki Storr, Elaine Stevens, Mr. Jed Elrod, and Steve Robbie. Now with us this morning is Dr. Melinda Creech and Dr. Richard Nims, who are also members of the Historical Commission. We can,
I want to thank you for your time. Everybody ready?
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, yes, take care.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.
Sure. Lucy, thank you so much. Appreciate it. If anybody's interested in serving, we'll be looking for historical commission members. Every 2 years, the commissioners court has to reappoint members to the commission. If anybody's interested, you're welcome to reach out to myself or the county judge, and we'll get you signed up.
Where's the Cambria?
Tamara is here.
Can you just have Tamara and you stand so I can read the next agenda item because it deals with Sutherland Springs? Would you want to come up? Agenda item B, discuss take action to approve the County Historical Commission's recommendation for land legacy award to Ruth, I'm going to say that's Miller, is it right? Miller?
Right.
Ander, whose extensive property near Sutherland Springs has been held by the same family for more than 111 years. Do you want to say something about it, Ms. Reed?
That's right. Yeah. Did you want to share that?
Can you tell us a little bit about that property?
I was just, well, the property I think is in the Skull family because the Skull family and Dr. Fretz would like the bridge called Mueller Bridge to be gone because it's technically built on private property. So I don't know if Ruth lives here.
I'll share. Ruth Miller Ander, who had applied for Land Legacy Award, for those of y'all that aren't aware, the Land Legacy Award and the Business Legacy Awards were 2 awards that the Commissioners Court approved a couple of years ago to recognize landowners in the county who have had property for more than 75 years continuously in the family, and businesses that have been operating continuously in the county for 25, 50, 75, or more than 100 years. Ruth Miller's grandfather bought the property. It's more than 200 acres, and it sits on both sides of the Cibolo near Sutherland Springs. And Tamara is absolutely right. The historic Miller Bridge is on that property. The property itself that the bridge sits on is no longer part of the family, but she continues to own and operate the 200 plus acres that her grandfather acquired in 1915. In accordance with our Land Legacy Award program, she applied for, and if the Commissioners Court approves today, she'll get a certificate that recognizes her family's long continuous operation of land in Wilson County.
And this bridge on her, that's between the 2 sides over the Cibolo, built on private property by the county, so it would give people from Sutherland Springs and La Vergne, better access to either side. And there's a beautiful picture of it in the County Memorial Hospital if you haven't seen the bridge.
Just a note, when I was a young man, that Miller Bridge was the only way you could get across, because the low water bridge in Sutherland Springs and the water bridge in Birmingham, it's a bridge was up. The Miller Bridge was the only way across the city.
So somebody's here that's actually been on the bridge. We've been on the bridge. So with you, the Historic Commission met a couple of weeks ago, a regular scheduled meeting, and they're recommending approval for the Commission's Court to approve the Land Legacy Award for Ruth Miller Ender for her 111 years of continued land ownership in Wilson County. And here we have a certificate.
Commissioner, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the County Historical Commission's recommendation for a land legacy awards for Ruth Miller Ender. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. One more time, if you want to come over here and
Thank you so much.
take another picture.
And then we'll arrange with Ms. Ander a presentation at something that might work for you, the court, as well as Ms. Ander. in the future.
All the commissioners want
Let me stand up.
one, two,
Thank you so much.
Agenda item number 9, discussion only. The Texas Historical Commission correspondence notifying Wilson County Emergency Grant Award of $504,016 to make the necessary repairs to the courthouse porticos. Okay, so we didn't have anybody come in last time from Mr. Horn's company. They did, they didn't have the paperwork, or what was it?
So I believe they had the RFQs, but they needed to be reviewed by our legal counsel first. I don't know if y'all received that from them yet. So we would just either reach out to Lindsay, the architect, to get those RFQs to the legal counsel.
And what was our matching, 200 and...
So we were awarded $564,016 for the grant with a county match portion of $241,721.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go back to that again, and let me get a hold of Mr. Thorne on that, so that, because that match has to be approved by the court.
So
Okay.
just to make the court aware, we have 3 months of the award date to accept this grant.
Okay, we'll have to move pretty quick.
motion, second.
It's discussion only. So next one will be an action item. Any other discussion, commissioners, on this subject? Okay. Agenda item number 10, discuss take action on approving the contract between Wilson County and the Wilson County Economic Development Corporation. If item A is approved, move to item B. So before we begin, I have public comments, so we're going to start on those first. Mr. James Frazier. Morning, sir. You have 3 minutes.
Yes. Full disclosure, I'm one of the founding members of the corporation, and I encourage the commissioners to continue to fund our ongoing efforts. We're in our infancy right now. We're just now getting our feet on the ground. And it's been a lot of work to try to get to this point. And funding is one of the things that we need to continue. We have our major concerns, like everybody, about infrastructure and natural resources, but we think that our purpose is to bring quality of life, health and safety, and sustainable growth to Wilson County. I'd like to point out that every county that surrounds us has an organization similar to ours, and I think it's a necessary thing to have. For me personally, I'm a fourth generation Wilson County cattle rancher, and I've always been a steward of the land. And I am concerned about some of the rapid growth that's coming here. But there needs to be an organization that can monitor this and report back to the public as to what's going on, and to promote good jobs and health and welfare for our county. So please, consider this when you're taking your vote to continue to fund us. Thank you for your time.
Mr. J.B. Herbst, am I saying that right, sir?
No, sorry, J.C. Rubitz.
Rubitz, okay.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. My name is J.C. Rubitz. I live in Stockdale, Texas. Didn't get there by legacy or anything. It was a lifelong dream to own land. And, I wanted to raise my kids out of the city. So around about the time the Eagle Ford Shale started hitting really hard in our county, I joined the Stockdale Economic Development Corporation in hopes of keeping businesses that might leave behind a mess out of our community. And I think we did a pretty good job of that. In fact, we got the whole town cleaned up quite nicely. And thanks to some of our members and our administrator at the time, we have a beautiful pond that people from communities all around us come to. A couple years ago, through my participation in that board, the last two of which I was president, I was invited to join the Wilson County Economic Development Corporation. And it's important to have people serving their community. And that's what we do. You need to have guardrails through your organizations, and there aren't guardrails in county government that stop this type of development. There are sacred property rights in this state, and that's why people love Texas. I love my property rights. I'm proud to be an owner of my water. I have a water well, so I can feed my livestock. I'm happy to have mineral rights that maybe 50 years from now, they'll be desperate for oil. Maybe they'll reward my great-great-grandchildren with some royalties or something like that. I do find it important that when we are, as citizens, being outspoken, we come from a place of honesty and integrity. And I think that there's been a lot of talk on social media misrepresenting and mischaracterizing the work that we do on the WCEDC, and it's sickening. And it's libelous, and it needs to stop. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Marcelo Davis.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Marcelo Laijas. I'm from Wilson County, and my family goes way back. My grandfather was born in Greytown in 1896. My mother was born in Calaveras in an adobe house with a dirt floor in 1936. My father was born in Den Hopkin in 1936. And so I've been here my whole life. I love the county. I'm vice president of the Wilson County Economic Development Corporation. I also currently serve, I've been serving for over a decade, probably about 13 years now. I'm vice president of the County Memorial Medical Center. Prior to that, I served 7 years back in the 90s. I was appointed by Governor Bush, where I served 7 years on the State Board of Nurse Examiners, and right after that, Governor Perry appointed me to the State Board of Pharmacy. I've owned and operated real estate office here in Wilson County since 1989. I've had vast experience in real estate. I've owned 2 real estate offices in the Rio Grande Valley, and I've had real estate transactions. I'm a commercial broker and farm and ranch, an accredited land consultant, and I do residential properties as well. I've trained many real estate agents right here that have become their own brokers. But so I've had transactions in Wilson County, Medina County, Bandera County, all the counties around, and of course Starr County, Cameron County, and Hidalgo County. My point is that the Wilson County Economic Development Corporation is very much needed. The members, like all the members of the board, are business people like myself. They're very pragmatic, very practical people, so we feel this is very important. I see, and we started this meeting with a prayer. We start our meetings with a prayer. I was a deacon at First Baptist Church of Floresville for 25 years, and I taught Sunday school. And the verse that comes to mind as we see like all the stuff that's going on social media, the verse that comes to mind is, you can find it in the 7th chapter, verse 1 of the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus says, "Judge not, that ye may not be judged. For by whatever measure ye judge, by that same measure are you going to be judged." And he goes on to say, you know what? Why do you say to your brother, there's a splinter in your brother's eye when you got a whole beam in your own eye? First take that beam out of your own eye so you can more clearly see the splinter in your brother's eye. The Wilson County Economic Development Corporation is here to do good for the county and to be a blessing to the county. My question is, the people that are so against us, what good are they doing for the county? What blessings are they trying to bring to the county? I'll terminate and finish with that.
Thank you. Mr. Jason Talley.
Good morning. I'm Jason Talley. I'm the president of the Wilson County Economic Development Corporation, and would like to just share a little bit about who I am. I am a 4th generation Wilson County landowner myself, own property that's been in the family since 1942. I've had a business in this town for 31 years. I employ people, someone who's invested and supported the community for decades. The single greatest economic generator in a county is a business. WCEDC is a private nonprofit, 501c6, created to simply bring collaboration amongst our cities, to bring good paying manufacturing, light industrial, things like that to this county, recruit employers, create jobs. All of our business owners that serve on this committee, all the board members, have spent a lot of time doing just that. And we're very proud of the work we have done. Our motives are in the right place, our heart's in the right place, and the integrity is impeccable. The one thing I will say is I do get a little defensive when I start reading comments out there. I'm not a big Facebook guy, and frankly, I was born and raised in a generation that if you want to talk to somebody, it's best to talk it out versus Facebook. But the Wilson County Resource Preservation Project has published some statements that need to be corrected. No money has been spent on some of the projects that they're referencing. A data center, eCore Global, for example, was referenced. That's a conversation we've had before with this particular company months ago. By the way, that is a company that's still looking to move forward with their project. It is also mentioned that we spent $50,000 on these projects, or we shared some of those dollars for those projects, which is also false. Because how is it we have $45,800 still left in the bank if we spent $50,000? Our fundraising has been private dollars, it has been public dollars, and we've been very conservative with our money. It also suggests that we were formed for data center activity. That's wrong. Our formation started way back in the spring of 2025, before a lot of these conversations existed. It also suggests by a commentator that we actually have a non-disclosure agreement with these entities. That true is false. We've never signed a disclosure agreement. They also mentioned the 501 they mentioned the power plant, Ecor Global. That is a potential plant that would offset energy needs at Mission Rail Park. It's going to be a gas-fired plant. So for an entity that actually says that electricity demand is a concern, but yet we're going to fight a company that wants to privately build a power plant for a commercial business park, we need to have a seat at the table, and that's what this organization does. We can't control, of course, what happens when a landowner wants to sell their property, but what we can control is have a seat at the table.
I'm going to have to close you off at that
Oh,
point,
that's fine.
unless somebody wants to give you 3 minutes.
No, we're good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Audrey Lindholm?
Hi, my name is Audrey Lindholm. I'm a mother, a wife, a grandmother. I'm actually from Williamson County, grew up in Round Rock. My mother's family was from Hidalgo County and had ranches in Starr County, etc. I reside in Stockdale, Texas. I work 2 jobs. One of them is farming and ranching on 20 acres. So we do beef cattle. We're doing dairy goats for home use only, and we're building up that business as we, fund it with our day jobs. Similar to Mr. Hugritz, my dream was, and we worked long and hard, to get to the position where we could purchase acreage. It was our dream, since my first child in 2002, and to where we could raise them in a safer environment, where the land was cleaner, people, we assumed would be more morally inclined in the country, that kind of thing. And I do hope that my grandchildren also have the opportunities to live in the country. And we do want to contribute to the community. Not all of us have large properties, it's not all generational, but we have different ways we can contribute. And we are looking for those ways to contribute. There's a lot of information that maybe I'm not aware of or maybe confused about. I would just say if the county economic development, I would like to see it as a group that protects the county from maybe some, I don't know if you want to say bad apples or wild cards that may be prone to taking advantage of the community. I personally don't care if somebody profits by doing something legally. That is none of my business. I want to see the people around me succeed, whether or not that impacts me financially or not. What I don't want to see is lack of water, dirty water, too much industrial. It's not attractive. It doesn't attract good growth to the community. So and I would like to say from the presentation of Mr. Hugritz, I don't doubt that he is sincere. However, I also, from what I do know about him, which is very limited, I think he has a good heart. And I just think a few bad apples can really take things off target. And then it's a blame game, and everybody's blaming each other, and nobody really knows where certain things are stemming from. So I would just like to see responsible, really responsible, let's look at this, and let's make this work, and let's do things that really benefit the community, not just with dollars, but with quality of life, and safe environmentally as well. And by the way, I'm a registered Republican. I come from a Navy family. I am very conservative, and I'm definitely, I know there were some comments also on Facebook that said people that are against these data centers are agitators, or they're communists, or I'm definitely not that. And so I just want to kind of put that out there, that a lot of us, there are Republicans that don't want dirty water, okay? Because we want our kids to, in Hidalgo County, it's very common for a very long time, we never drank the water. Pregnant women drinking the water, their babies would be born with encephalitis. It was disgusting. And I don't want that to happen to our community. It's just not.
Thank you, Ms. Lindholm. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. John Gold. John Gold.
My name is John Doyle, and I'm a member of the Wilson County Resource Preservation Project. An open records request submitted to Wilson County captured a chain of emails exposing the organization of a secret meeting between local leadership and data center developer Jeremy Cook of 3D Infrastructure at Phelps headquarters. This engagement was organized to follow up on an earlier meeting and to coordinate the response of local leadership to the Floresville Technology Campus, a data center under development near Floresville and Poth. We can't say exactly who attended this meeting or the preceding meeting, or how many meetings took place, but Mr. Cook explicitly listed the stakeholders of the previous meeting by name. The combined list of stakeholders, organizers, and invitees include Floresville EDC President Ray Lambert, Assistant Executive Director Michelle Tackett, and Director Ben Lambert, Floresville Mayor Gloria Cantu and Monica Valiz, who served the dual role of Floresville City Manager and Interim Executive Director of Floresville EDC, Wilson County Judge Hank Whitman, Phelps CEO Aaron Wagner, CTO Chris Owens, CFO Santos Alarcon, and COO Devin Parker, Poth Mayor and Wilson County EDC Board Member Crystal Eckel, former Stockdale EDC Administrator and current Executive Director of the Wilson County EDC Jen Baird, and Wilson County EDC President Jason Talley and Vice President Marcel Leahouse Jr. While many details were omitted, what's clear is that the organizers valued confidentiality and exclusion of the activist group informed in Stockdale as paramount, because Jason Talley touted these characteristics as making Jen Baird an ideal invitee to this meeting. Maybe you could even excuse the Wilson County EDC's lack of transparency if the taxpayers were only on the hook for petty operating and startup expenses like D&O insurance, marketing materials, and down payments on their website. But when combining its quasi-governmental nature with the fact that the county apparently allocated 100,000 taxpayer dollars to the Wilson County EDC and paid 50,000 of those without a contract or agreement, this opacity is unacceptable, especially now knowing the controversial nature of the dealings. In fact, the thorough intermingling of local government executives with the Wilson County EDC and public money makes it unclear what unique purpose this allegedly private corporation serves over the traditional EDCs, beyond shielding its participants from scrutiny, while providing unscrupulous individuals insider information and the opportunity to profit off of public coffers. Given the apparently high economic proximity between several members in these controversial developments, continuing to fund the Wilson County EDC is indefensible. This vote represents a fork in the road for our whole community. We respectfully request that the court reject the contract with the Wilson County EDC and any continued formal or informal association with it until they've demonstrated genuine good faith reform and the ability to operate on their own without public support. If you don't, and you choose to fund them through 2027, you'll forever forfeit the ability to claim that you lack the statutory authority to act against the data centers and will have sided with them against the clear wishes of your constituents. Thank you.
Joyce Dolan. I'm sorry, is it Jody?
Judge, I'd like to correct the record. I was not at that meeting. I did not go to that meeting.
This is just public comments.
Public comments.
I just want the record.
Sure.
It's getting beyond public comment, it's getting loud.
I'm sorry, I cannot read your writing.
That's me, but my son said what I need to say.
Okay, all right. Jason Lowry? Hey, good, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have not got some generational stuff here in Wilson County, but I've lived in Texas my whole life. And me and my wife bought a piece of property here 10 years ago. We really love the fact that we have peace and quiet, we have wildlife, and it very much concerns me the prospect of the data centers coming and affecting the wildlife. I'm an avid hunter, and there are stories of eardrums of white-tailed deers getting burst because of the noise being created by these data centers. I want to be able to hunt deer for the rest of my life. I don't want to be damaging the wildlife in our population. There is stories of cattle having problems with their cattle being stillborn and not being able to birth calves. We have a huge cattle industry in Texas. Why would we want to harm that? I appreciate that some of y'all have said we stopped some of the oil industry from destroying our land, because there are stories out of Oklahoma where oil companies have just been forcing the old wastewater under the ground, and it's seeping up through old oil wells and poisoning groundwater. I don't want that to happen here, but you also have to keep in mind that if your whole goal is just profit and you don't care about other things, then bad things happen. So I want you to protect this, and I want you to bring companies that generate income and bring money to our county. We're not a wealthy county, but I have a business. I work for myself. I restore automobiles, and I would much rather be in my garage right now building an old '57 Chevy than being here trying to stop you guys from ruining my county. And anyway, another topic that is somewhat related is the mass surveillance that is happening in our communities. Flock cameras have gone up, and there's one right down the street from my house, and I believe that they are tied to the data centers so that they have to put all that information somewhere when they're recording you constantly every day and building a network and a profile on you so they can track you. There's stories of them tracking women that went out of the state simply because we changed the laws and they couldn't get health care and abortion here. There's women that have my mom had an ectopic pregnancy. It would have killed her. Now, with the laws that were written, they can't deal with her and keep her from being dying on the medical bed. So, anyway, that's about all I have to say.
Okay, we're going to recess before we come back to agenda number 10 because we have a hearing at 10 o'clock we have to return to. So we stand recessed at 9:55. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes.
Everybody who's speaking on the